from JG, and the subject is Ricky Starks. What the deuce has happened to absolute Ricky Starks? I see a lot of potential in Ricky, so I'm definitely perplexed by his latest booking in AEW. He went from world title bout versus MJF to pretty much irrelevancy. Could it be some petty heat for showing up to support Cody in WWE? What are your guys' thoughts and insight on this matter, Ricky's current situation? Thanks, 100 JG from Jersey. First, this one sentence here, maybe Joe, you know about this. Could it be some petty heat for showing up to support Cody in WWE? What is that story? I don't know that story. Do you know that, Joe?
When Cody returned at the Rumble, his little entourage clique he had with him, Ricky Starks was there, so he was backstage at WWE at the Rumble, at least, maybe Mania
really?
too. Yeah.
That's interesting because that could very well. I don't know. There's all speculation, obviously, but that could.
No,
be
that could be heat because if
Yeah.
you were to do that in Mexico, you'd have mega heat, and
Really?
depending on who you are, probably fired. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, you're at the
Yeah, okay, well,
competitor's dressing room. What are you doing there?
Yeah, maybe that's why. Because I'm telling you, nobody will disagree. Ricky Starks was on an upward trajectory. They started giving him mic time. He was killing it on the mic, holding his own against MJF. Got went over, won that title and stuff, and then the next thing you know, he's wrestling Juice Robinson, and like he went back down the card.
By the same token, and we've said this millions of times, probably other 10 guys that are in Ricky Stark's position where they've mishandled them.
Right.
So you don't know which one it is.
Yeah, that's one thing I have noticed is that it's kind of like but bro, Tony needs to that comes from inexperience. Is how do you elevate characters?
Right.
Elevating the character is kind of a difficult process because what you have to do is like, it's like if you like the Boston Bruins, the New York Rangers, and the Las Vegas Golden Knights, right? And the Vegas Golden Knights are 500, and the other, if you're a booker, like you got to have Vegas like beat the teams that you're still promoting, and you still like to elevate them above characters that you're already elevated and don't really want to lose. But that's what you have to do to elevate the next characters. They got to go over the guys that you don't really think should be losing, but that's how characters get elevated. Is when they beat guys you do not expect them to beat. And guys that are higher in the card, it's like I don't see, like we said, you don't see a lot of that AEW, correct?
No, and the thing is that everything's hard if you don't know how to do it. Like I know how to elevate characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
It's weird to me that Tony, who is a mega fan, probably more than me or you, okay, and he was on these little chat rooms and all the stuff
Right.
that he was doing, that he didn't learn how to elevate people,
Right.
And so that's kind of a head scratcher for me.
Yeah. Next is from Forrester Grillo. He's a regular. How many submissions do you think Forrester Grillo's had in this mailbag show over the years?
25.
25 or more, right? Easily.
Yeah.
The subject is the worst from the best. Sorry if I sound a little glum in my email today. This WGA strike is shutting down the productions of a lot of big movies and TV shows I was hyped for, especially a Marvel remake of a vampire classic. Oh, God. I'm just so addicted to The Blade.
Okay, what's this guy's name?
Forrester Grillo.
Okay, let me tell you what's going to happen, Forrest. Since you tried to be funny, we're suspending you. Joe, please annotate that. Even though it was your joke that started this, we should suspend you too.
Yeah, right.
And number 2, we won't read the rest of the letter. So you want to come on here and be a...
Yeah.
You want to read the rest?
Yeah, you know what? Well, no, you're right, because he put it so early in the email that we're just gonna shut it down. All right.
This is a squash match.
Yeah. All right. Like I said, if you guys want to put your stupid ass jokes, you better put them at the end. Okay.
Right.
Next is from Theo Combo, and the subject is Kimberly Page's cat. Oh, this is interesting. I listened to this clip too. Hey, K100 crew, I want to share something interesting from the 83 Weeks podcast. Bischoff mentioned he had a big issue with DDP's wife because her cat was unfriendly and didn't like him. He made a disrespectful comment about the cat, and since then, Kimberly Page never liked him. Now, I'm curious, do you have any stories about Kimberly Page's infamous cat? I have no stories about the cat because the cat didn't... I never had an interaction with the cat, but, like, I didn't live far from Paige, and I would go over to Page's house every now and then, okay? Eric lived down the street. I think they lived in the same subdivision. Okay, so Eric probably spent more time at Paige's house than I did, obviously. But this was a funny story. Joe, put this in the Patreon.
Okay.
Because I don't want to listen to it. But basically, him and Kimberly never really got along very well. And Eric thinks it's because of the cat, because he didn't like the cat. The cat didn't like him. He didn't like the cat, and he got the residual heat for not liking the cat from Kimberly. And so some funny stories. Put it in the page of it, but that'd be interesting. Next is from Heath N, and the subject is Disco versus Scott Hall, December 1st, 1997. Got a quick question for Disco. I noticed your December 97 match with Scott Hall, that Hall's first chest slap to you in the corner looked like he did it with some extra authority. Do you remember this? I cringed through my phone watching. Did you maybe throw a shoot slap beforehand he was given a receipt, or was it just a spur of the moment thing? Thanks for listening. Well, first of all, okay, me and Scott were friends, all right? And the fact that you thought that he looked like he threw some extra stuff, that shows you what a good worker he was. And I would sell chops very well. And so that was just all performance to make him look good. But if you do watch the whole clip, watch the chops I throw to him beforehand. I light him up too.
Yeah, I got it right here. If you want
to put it on. Put it on. Just show that exchange. I can
see it too. Yeah.
Because I'm not. I didn't do a lot of chops. But this was a called spot. Hey, give me a couple chops, and I'm gonna turn you around and give you a couple big ones. That's it. All right, cool. This is us working. Okay, go ahead.
Look at what he's doing. Look at the aggressive mixture that this going Inferno is using against Scott Hall. Hall is heading up, though. Get up, strong! Get up, strong! Get up, strong!
Yeah. He lit me up, but like I said, I lit him up too.
Yeah, but let me explain something to you. That's how Scott Hall chops.
Right.
And so he would, even like when we were in house shows, he chopped the fuck out of me. I was like, bro, it's a house show. Chill out. You know, but that was, but he did it to everybody, bro.
Right.
That was just like Juventud. Juventud would chop the shit out of you. Yes. Benoit would chop the shit out of you. You know what I'm saying?
That's just the thing, is you wrestle some guys that they're going to chop you. Like you wrestle Flair, you're going to get chopped. You wrestle Hoover, you're going to get chopped. You wrestle Hall, you're going to get chopped. You wrestle who else? Benoit, you're going to get chopped. You know, so but the truth, honestly.
And there was a that would always get a pop.
Yes.
If you slap and people hear it. Ooh.
Here was the worst. The Giant chopped me a couple times, the overhand chop like that, and that didn't feel great, okay?
Right.
But the chop that hurt me the most in my career, they don't really hurt, but they don't feel good. You know, you're not getting injured from a chop, but you're like I said, it's like when you're growing up, you're getting if your dad pulls out the hickory stick and whoops your ass, it's not going to feel good, but you're not going to get injured. You know, you're going to get your ass whooped, you know, which is what happened, right? But the worst one ever,
Ming. Wow.
Ming, because he had he had like a ribeye steak for a hand. You know, it was like a big, thick hand with big teeth, and he was like, boom, and he wasn't very good at. He wasn't like the Flair chop where he chops you and like his hand hits your chest and goes through. It was like, I'm gonna chop you, and it's your direct hit to your chest, and it's gonna knock you down. You know, it's just what it is. Like, oh my god, it's like, you know, whatever. But I'd take chops all day as opposed to taking bumps on my neck. You know, so that wouldn't feel worse. So, all right. So next one's from Buck Nasty, and the subject's Wrestlers Union. Big fan of the show and your work in WCW. Just curious, with the potential for injury for professional wrestlers, is there any serious talk among wrestlers to form a union? Do you think a union could improve conditions and earning potential for wrestlers as a whole? There's never been talk about a union. Nobody wants to. First of all, I've talked about this, you know, repeatedly in the past. We've had these discussions when Andrew Yang supposedly was supposed to go after the WWE and unionize wrestlers, and that was nothing happened because you can't find. First of all, the most difficult problem the professional wrestling business would have is find a union leader. Who's going to be the union leader? The discussion kind of starts and ends right there. Like, who's going to be the union leader?
Plus,
like like names off the top of your head would be like, oh, this person. Well, how do you even know that person wants to unionize?
Yeah.
So the whole conversation just does not even have a starting point in the professional wrestling business. And then number two. It's like, who is unionized? The guys that are on TV, or everybody that wrestles in a ring and indies and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you have, you know, every professional wrestler joins a union, and we have union rules and stuff and all that, bro. Now promoters, it's going to cost them more money to run their shows.
Yeah,
So you're going to basically,
I would unionize the two big companies because it's a shame and it's a highway robbery that we don't have pensions, that we don't get overtime, that we don't have workman's comp. There's so many things that we get done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I just think
we could argue that another day, but I would disagree. I would not want to.
Why would you disagree?
Because I thought it was fine the way the system was set up.
I didn't.
Yeah. You know, I mean, honestly, but here's the big
football
thing.
Players and basketball players get a pension. Why don't we? You know.
I don't know. You know we should bring on the show to discuss this is Ryback. Because he's been very outspoken about unions and stuff like unionizing. He thinks all professional wrestlers should get paid the same. Like there's a lot of questions that we should have a discussion with that. Joe, try to ask Ryback if he wants to come on and talk about the process of unionizing professional wrestling, what it would entail, because that's a whole show almost. You know, but I'd discuss it. It's just too much. There's way too much to talk to.
No problem.
So, yeah. All right. Next is from Ben, and the subject is Victor Jovica, whatever that is. Does that name?
Yeah. He's a Puerto Rican promoter.
What's up, Disco? The question for Conan. Do you have any Victor Jovica stories? He was quite the character. Thanks.
Victor Jovica was like part owner of Carlos Colon Promotion, and I think he was from Yugoslavia, and he'd been in Puerto Rico forever, and he was mega over because he was a wrestler first, and his Spanish was very broken, and they were notoriously late for paying you. So I would always hear him tell other wrestlers, and he would tell me the same thing. You know, it would be a Saturday show. You'd ask for a draw or you'd ask for money that was owed to you. And he'd always say, Monday, go to bank. I pay you. So you'd have to go to Monday and meet him at a bank. So he would pay you. And he also he was mega over, dude. But he also his girlfriend ran the empanada stands. You know what those are, the empanadas?
Yeah.
So during the show, I would get hungry. And outside of the arena, they have these things called pinchos, which are incredible. It's like a skewer, and they put like barbecue beef on it, like chunks. And then they put like this really soft, it's almost like Cuban bread. And then they put another piece of meat and a Cuban. It's incredible, bro. So they would have pinchos outside, and inside they would run the empanada thing. So I would always go during the show, and I'd get like 2 empanadas and a Coke. This would actually come up to me, and he would say, hey, you, the last 3 weeks, 4 empanadas, 2 Cokes, 2 pinchos, it's so much money. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Wow.
I'm like, wait a minute.
The Oakland A's, like remember the Oakland A's owner you had to pay for Cokes?
Soda.
Right. Let me see if I got this right. You pay me late. You send me on the worst flights possible. Bro, they used to send me on this thing that it said when they would send me the email, it would say cheapflights.com, right? So I'd have to go to 2 or 3 cities before I ever hit Puerto Rico. I go, you send me these long ass things, and you're gonna charge me for these empanadas? So I went and I told Carlos Colon, I go, hey, just so you know this is happening. He goes, oh, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. And the next time I went to get empanadas, the lady was like, yeah, I have orders not to give you anything unless you pay. And I was like,
damn.
You're hitting me.
My boy Victor.
You're running the guy out of business, but with eating too many empanadas.
Yo te veo lunes, dinero. Yo te veo lunes. I see you Monday, money. Yeah.
Next is from also Garrison. The subject is Mia Yim. I'm a big fan of Mia Yim, but her WWE run has been hot garbage. Her coming in as new member of the OC was good, but then AJ broke his leg or ankle, which basically shut down all the careers of the members for 2 to 3 months. Now AJ Styles is back. The OC gimmick is back on, and what I'm writing to ask you guys is, what do you think the rest of her 2023 should be like? She's really hot. She can wrestle really well, etc. I'm hoping for a Ripley versus Yim feud for SummerSlam. What do you guys think? And Disco, you're my dude, but I can't believe you'd ever consider bringing Billy back for K100 Sports. Just talk to Billy off the air about sports if you need to. Your audience can't stand him. If he comes back, your fans will drop the show again. Yeah, we have no desire to bring him back right now, but I said if Billy could rehabilitate himself on social media, which has been his problem, you know, he was we had no issues with the conversation. I don't know if people did Billy, Joe, would you consider Billy's appearances on the show, do you think that upset our fans, or do you think was the social media stuff that upset the fans?
Well, I think the appearances where he would on the audience and call the wrestling fans fat virgin Martin.
Right.
I think that probably did, and yeah, he wasn't very respectful of the audience.
Right. He still isn't very respectful of the audience. He thinks the wrestling fans are losers. I'm like, dude, that's
No, and this is what I told them. This is what I told them. I go, the biggest loser is you because you're arguing with them.
Right.
Who's the bigger loser, them or you?
Right. I don't know. It's like crazy.
Right.
But like I said, bro, like he's very knowledgeable in sports. So that's like whatever.
Yeah, but all that all the drama isn't worth it.
Exactly. So.
So what is
Mia Yim?
Yes.
Mia Yim.
So make sure you didn't pass that.
Well, she blocks me on Twitter, so I'm not going to say a lot of positive things about her, but as a worker, she's not bad. But I just don't care about her. And they've done nothing with her to make me care about her. So that's a lot of performers in the business today, is they just don't have the ability to make me care about what they're doing on the shows. So, you got a comment, Conan?
Well, the thing is that she doesn't really have or she hasn't shown a lot of charisma. I haven't really heard any real good mic work. And when she's gone out there to wrestle, people don't care. Who cares if her wrestling is good? You need to have a personality and a character and a persona and a good storyline. And I don't know if she has any charisma. I haven't really seen it yet. Maybe they put in a good storyline and it'll pop. Maybe there's something hidden there that we haven't seen. But so far, I've seen not too much in her.